Hello everybody. Welcome in Realm Runners. My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian in the Discord. I'm the Achroma Community Coordinator, and welcome to this week's Achroma weekly stream on the 9th of July 2023. I hope you're all well. Yeah, my beard is a little bit longer, Fairy. It's getting longer by the week. Welcome everybody. Great to see you all. Yeah, I don't know why the sound decided to cut off in the middle there. It just decided to change devices. Do give me a shout in the chat if for whatever reason you hear the music stop. My eyes don't always initially see the little bar not moving because it was still playing sound for me, but we'll see. Hopefully that is the only technical difficulty tonight. But welcome everybody. So the question I asked you at the start of the stream today was just a fun little one. I said, if you could have one creature card from Achroma as a companion, which would it be and why? So let's start by having a little look through the stream, saying hello to everybody, and seeing what answers we got. So welcome in Lord Maiden, Sarah Jane, Shah, and Fairy Bread, and Rich, and Seventh Fire, and Ricky. All of you that were here before the stream started, appreciate the early attendance. Great to see you all. So Lord Maiden was the first one to come in with a answer saying Funguar, because no one messes with Funguar. Yeah, Funguar is always a top pick. Can't dislike Funguar. Lewis says, I feel like if I don't say Imp, Kaz will disown me. Fair enough, but you could say that the Imp is Kaz's, so you could have your own if you wanted to. Fairy says, I'd actually pick the Daydrifter as they'd be extremely useful for transport. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% certain. I need to maybe double check the lore, but I'm pretty certain the Daydrifter is actually, I'm pretty certain it's like the size of a pigeon. Oh, no, they're these giant ductile creatures. Okay, oh, no, they can't fly. The lore on that card is these giant ductile creatures support injured fairies. Oh, no, they support injured fairies that can't fly. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, maybe they could. But then again, they normally transport fairies. And fairies are normally quite small. But, hey, maybe they could work out. Let's see. Sarah also says Funguar. Shah, I like Shah's choice. Tufter. Not a common one mentioned, but Tufter is an absolute cute little guy. Yeah, what use does Funguar actually have? Would you like to say that to his face? He is multi-purpose. His main priority is putting smiles on people's faces. What else have we got here? Heron asks, does rabid dog count? Absolutely, he does. Lewis says, I've got a rabid dog as a pet in the RPG. Very nice. Daydrift is the most convenient in my opinion. Lord says, if someone harasses you, just turn around and say, have you met my buddy Funguar? Fun fact, they're extremely poisonous and evil to anyone that isn't their companion. Yeah, exactly. We're getting good idea. Heron says, Green Raven could be fun to look at the cards for a secret. I mean, just having a Raven as a pet would be awesome, let alone a Green Raven. Impundulu, keeping the Lost Fairies safe. Yeah, Impundulu, very good companion to have. Yeah, but Funguar always gets killed when he attacks. Not necessarily. If you put a powerful object on him, he'll stay alive. Yeah, Green Raven would be very cool. Awesome. Funguar is very small. He's a small little caterpillar. So yeah, he's probably quite big compared to a fairy, who's probably the same size as a caterpillar. But compared to us, Funguar is a small little guy. He can ride on your shoulder. Yeah, for me, it has to be Funguar, personally, as well. Well, welcome in, everybody. Great to have you here. So for those that are maybe new to the weekly stream, how this works is, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. So we're going to start with the Achroma news, events, and previews, where we talk about all the news that have happened, news that's happened this week for Achroma. We talk about any events that have happened and events that are coming in the future. And if we have anything to preview to you guys, like new cards or new anything really, then here is where you'll see it first. We then have a new section that we brought forward about a month ago or so, called the Realm Table. So in the middle part of the stream, we normally get on a guest for community discussion. And this week, our guest is actually a special one because it is actually someone from Realm Studios. It is Jack Constantine, the managing director for Realm Runner Studios and the co-creator of Achroma. So Jack is going to be joining us on the the Realm Table segment a bit later on. And he is going to be discussing all things Draco Temple with us. So because we're currently in the Draco Summer season, we are going to have a discussion with Jack, who was the one that created most of the Draco lore. And we're just going to find out some more stuff about Draco Temple. If you guys have any questions for Jack, then he'll be able to answer as well. Give him an orb and let him run away. Yeah, very true. Good evening, Idol. Good to see you. Good evening, OSJ as well. And then the last bit of the stream will be the community showcase, and that is where we like to shine the light back on you guys in the community to be able to just see what you guys have been up to in the community, what fan art you've been creating, what palettes you've been building, and just, yeah, show off the amazing things you create. With that, let's get started. So, I am Charles Barton, your host for the Achroma Weekly Stream. Let's get started with the Achroma news, events, and previews. Starting with Kickstarter. As always, we like to talk about Kickstarter updates. Now, I do and I don't have Kickstarter updates. I don't have Kickstarter updates to provide you on stream today. However, there was a discussion with some of the community members yesterday about... We haven't really provided that much news recently for the Kickstarter, and the main reason for that is because things are progressing, but they were updates that we didn't really think the community would really care to hear. You know, there are things in the background, decisions that are being made, things that are being ordered. And after having a bit of a discussion with some community members yesterday, it appears that there does seem to be a want to essentially find out exactly what's going on in the background for these products. So although I don't have anything on stream today to show you, what I can say is in the coming days, we will be doing a Kickstarter update post, which will be posted in the Discord. It will also be actually on the Kickstarter campaign itself, and it will obviously make it into the next stream as well. And in that post and on the stream, we will detail essentially all of the products that are left to be fulfilled, and we will let you guys know where exactly they are, but also, you know, we'll talk about some of the decisions that we've made with some of them. You know, why some of them have maybe been a bit delayed, the decisions we've made, so that we can be more transparent with that. So although I haven't got anything to tell you actually on the stream today, keep an eye out on the Kickstarter campaign over the next few days, and it'll also be in the Discord to be able to see all of those details. Next then, so Draco Summer. So we are in the Draco Summer season, as we spoke about last week. So we're now 1 week in. As a reminder, if you don't know what the Draco Summer season entails, then there is a link down below in the stream to the news article that explains it all. But in short, the first month we have a narrative event where we are running a battle for good versus evil, Achroma versus Achroma, where the winner of it at the end of the month will be changing the course of Draco Temple Chronicle forever. In the second month of Draco Summer Season, we will be aiming to bring out a new Chronicle of cards, again under the Draco realm. And then for the third month, we'll be looking to run another grand tournament. So that's basically how a season works. But right now, we're right at the beginning of the season, so it's worth mentioning the fact that we are currently doing that Achroma v Achroma push. Now, for those that have not seen, the way that this is monitored is on our website. We have a global achrometer, as you can see here on screen. Now, right now, this is the all-time figures. I'll click on season in a moment. And you can find it on the website under global achrometer, and you can actively see which side is winning. So let's have a little look. Now, yesterday there was a event, so we had quite a lot of games being played. Let's see what it's currently on. So it's currently on 277 Achroma wins to 240 Chroma. So firstly, the fact that we've had, you know, well over 500 games in a week is really cool. So well done to everyone that has played so far. But Achroma is currently in the lead a little bit, but not by much, not by much at all. Don't forget that when we had the Salem spring season, that season, it changed hands so often. And at one point, Achroma was in the lead by like 80 or 90, and Chroma still managed to pull it back and win by 100 or so. So it's only week one. It's only week one, so lots to play for. For those who don't know how this works, all you need to do is pick up your Achroma cards, log in with the Achroma app, play a game of either Canvas or Heroes, and make sure that you choose ranked mode when you play, meaning an online mode. And your score at the end will be attached to the Achrometer results. If you win by gaining to 30, it's considered a Chroma win. If you win by reducing all of your opponents down to 0 and effectively erasing them, then it counts as an Achroma win. So yeah, well done to everyone that is making that push so far. I mean, again, just the sheer amount of games that have been played so far is absolutely brilliant. Fairy Bread, no. I really should play more. Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot over the last few days at the you know, the grand tournament. Sorry, not the grand tournament. The special event yesterday. But I need to play a little bit more as well. I need to get some more in. You've played 9 today alone. Very nice, Fairy. That's still a good figure to play today. More than I've played today. Ricky says, I was strictly Chroma for a while, but I actually got a few Achromans the last few days for all you followers of the Dark. Oh, very nice. How does it feel, Ricky? Did it empower you? Did it make you feel like strong and powerful to win with Achrom? Is it addicting? That's what I suspect. Idle, has the Achrometer bug been fixed yet, as far as you know? Yeah, so the Achrometer had a few tweaks over the last week. We should mention that one of the reasons why the Achrometer, we weren't the quickest to get some of the updates in. We have had a bit of a shift around with our dev team, and one of our devs was even flying over to the UK and moving to the UK. So, we've had to prioritize certain things. But yes, the Achrometer is now working nice and solidly. It updates once an hour. As you can see there on the screen, it updates every hour. You can see 52 minutes till the next update, and you can see when the last update was, which is all nice. Achrom makes me cry a little bit inside. Lewis says, looks like it's back to only updating daily at the moment. If that is, then the devs will get on that. But yeah, I know we had a problem with it yesterday. I thought it'd been fixed this morning, but we'll see. You do get a strange high from it. Yeah, you do. You went up to 350 Achrom wins with a 200 difference between Achrom and Chroma. Very nice, Fairy. That's awesome. Oh, okay. So it's the same as yesterday, is it? Where it's just updating once a day. Okay, fair enough. Well, obviously it is the weekend. We'll speak to the devs tomorrow, and we'll get it back to being an hourly. It was working the other day. It just yesterday it seemed to then go back to daily. We will get straight on that. But in the meantime, Achrom doing very well. Well done, guys. So the next bit of news then is around. Let me just get my images back up. There we go. Is around the Draco Summer the Draco Summer special event. So this was the event that happened yesterday in the store in Poole. So this was where we had members of the community coming to the store to play games of Achroma to push for the Achrometer Chroma versus Achrom fight. We made it special by firstly having a couple of extra game modes. So there was a Draco Cube running. For those that came to the previous special event or have maybe played something similar before, the way a cube works is you play a 6-player game where you have little booster packs of cards that you have to look at the booster pack, choose one card, then pass the booster pack to the next person. So you're kind of building a palette on the fly, and the palette building rules kind of go out the window. It was really fun, actually. I think there were 3 games that were played yesterday because they do take a while. I was in one of them. And yeah, it was just really fun. It's a really nice little way to spice up the game a little bit. But the kind of the main event of the day was the fact that we had these lovely event cards. So we showed these on stream last week. Let me just take I've got to savor the peelies. Take the nice little slip cover off my set here. So these are narrative cards where this first card just explains how it works. But essentially what you do with these is when you're playing a game of Achroma, whether it's Heroes or Canvas, you shuffle this pile of larger cards and you put them in between you and your opponents. And then at the top of every round, a round being just before the first person takes their turn, you turn over one of these cards. There'd be a bit of lore, and there'd also be an ability. So, for example, this particular card is called Mountains of the Sky. The floating mountains of vast Volataris houses temples in the sky. Only those with the power only those with the power or engineering of flight may come and go freely. So you get a little bit of lore, and then you get a gameplay ability, which for this card is this turn, during the resolve step, each player may +1 for each card in their hand. So the way we like to think of these event cards is it's almost like they are an extra player in your game, and it really makes the games interesting. Just to read through some of the abilities we got here, all players with an odd shard bank total must discard 1 card. Anyone that's on an even shard bank is drained 1 shard. This turn, during the resolve step, locations with any Achrom may resolve twice. Each player must erase 1 character from their canvas with any Achrom. This turn, during the resolve step, locations with any Chroma may resolve twice. I believe there's 30 cards. Sorry, no, there's not 30 cards. That's a lie. There's 24 cards plus the instruction card. So yeah, so these were on the table, on every table at the event, and they were there for people to play with. And it was really, really fun. Everybody had really good feedback. The cards just made the games really interesting. It's just a really nice way to spice up the regular games. What I personally like about it is there can be sometimes when you're playing games of Achroma where you're playing against, an opponent, and you've got no cards in hand. You've got maybe no cards on the canvas. You're maybe down to like 5 shards or something, and you're sitting there thinking, I've lost this game. I'm basically I'm just drawing and trading until I eventually lose. But these cards can change that. Like suddenly a card can come out which just completely board wipes your opponent's board. The next card that comes out might give you an instant +5 or allow you to draw 4 cards. Like the cards can seriously change the game, and it did in the games yesterday. It was really, really fun. What we got in the chat in the meantime? Unusual to see Dan being the core team member, being the picture format. So, I mean, I did peer pressure him to do that, Idol. The reason being is that, so in the store yesterday, it was Dan, myself, and Hen running the event because all of the other team members were either taking a weekend off or they were at other events doing other things. And I was like, hey, Dan, stand on a chair. You know, you're being the picture today. But look at that smile. He was having a great time. What else we got? It was so fun. Yeah, it was great, Shah, wasn't it? It was really, really good. Still salty for not being able to play Drain the Woods and gain 15. Oh yeah, that was fantastic in the Salem one. They were great cards. Glad I got some for myself. Sounds very interesting challenges. I'd like to think of it as AI with those event cards. Yeah, it kind of is like AI. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know we mentioned on the stream last week about, you know, that we were going to look for a way for people that didn't come to the event to have these cards. So I do have some news on that, folks. So we only printed, and I believe I'm right in saying we printed 50 of them, but maybe it was slightly more, slightly less, but we printed about 50 of these packs. I know that about 10 or 11 of them have been sent up to one of our stockists Bash. So those that are from the Bash store, I believe they didn't get a chance to run the event on Saturday, but they're going to be running their version of the event in the next week or two. Rich, I know you're currently in the stream, so when you find out that date, if you can let me know, and I'll let the rest of the community know for those that want to go to Bash. But yeah, there'll be 10 or 11 of those pallets going to Bash. So if you go there, you'll be able to play with them. And obviously, if Bash want to sell them or give them away, they can. In terms of the ones that we've got, so of the rest of the ones we had, I think we had 39 of them left. I think we sold about 15 of them in the store, and we've got a few of them that we've kept at the store as store copies. So what I'm trying to say here, folks, is I don't know the exact number that are left, but I would put somewhere in the lines of 25 to 30 of these pallets are remaining. And what's happening is they're being sold. So as of, it should be tomorrow. I don't know an exact time, folks, but at some point tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, so I don't want to promise it's going to be tomorrow, but at some point in the next day or two, they will go on sale on the website. They'll be £15 for the 24 card large pallet. They are the same quality as the other cards that we printed. The only difference is they're larger and they don't have the rounded corners, but otherwise they are the same quality cards. You aren't able to use any discount codes on them, so Draco Summer discount code or any of the affiliate discount codes won't work on them. Essentially, guys, we're selling these at cost price. Let's put it that way. You know, we're selling them to make the money back from printing. We're not here to make a profit for these. They are a very limited profit. You know, we only made 50 copies, so if you want one, what's going to happen is the second that they go live on the website, I will tag and at everybody in the Discord, and we'll also put out some social media posts. So if you want to get your hands on them, keep an eye on the Discord over the next day or two, and the second we post, hey everyone, they are live, it will literally be first come, first serve. I believe we're going to make it so that you can only put one in your basket, because we don't want somebody just buying 30 of them and reselling, because that would just be unfair. So it'll be one per person. Now, although we can't stop people, we recommend that if you bought one in the store, we ask you politely to not buy one online, because that's just being greedy. If you've already got one, you've got one. But yes, so that'll be coming in the next day or two. Now, we did also potentially discuss the possibility last week of putting them online, you know, as, you know, just the digital version or something like that. Now, I've got a good news, bad news answer for this, folks. The bad news is we won't be putting them online anytime soon in terms of like, hey, just download the PDF, print them off. And the reason why is, although I don't have any more details for you today, I have no promises of it being like immediate or anything like that. We are toying very closely with the idea of actually releasing these cards as a regular product. And if we do that, then, you know, these aren't like first edition or anything like that. If we do end up releasing it as a full product, then not only will we be reprinting the Draco Temple ones to be able to buy, but we'd also reprint the Salem ones back from Curse of Curdle Hill. So, you know, the reason why we're not going to just put them out there free to play is because it gives us room to be able to make it as a full product and put it on the store in the near future. Again, I don't have any promises of that, but because that's the route that we are looking to go down, that's why we're not going to be putting them up now. if we decide, if we make a hard decision in the end that we aren't going to be doing them as a full product, then there might then be the talks of, okay, shall we put them online for people just to play with anyway? But the point being is that for now, it's going to be a very, very limited edition product. That, like I said, there's only 50 of them overall, and it's purely a, you know, for those that came to the event yesterday, they were able to buy one in store as a thank you for attending the store. You know, they got the first priority, and for everyone else that buys it online, it's a case of a first come, first serve. Well done, you got your hands on a beta product. If you have any questions, let me know about that, but that is what's going to happen with that. But yeah, it was a fantastic event. Going back to the event, thank you very, very much to everybody that attended the event. It was genuinely a lot of fun. Thank you very much to Dan and Hen, who obviously were there helping run it as well. They did fantastic. And yeah, it was just a pleasure to see everybody. We had some great games and some great fun. And obviously, the whole point is that we were helping push that Achroma towards a better resolution, depending on which side of the fence you sit on for Chroma and Acrom. But yeah, so that was the event. We run one of those every season. So if you want to join us for the special event next time, it will be normally the first or second weekend of the next season. So I think the next one will be October for those who want to start looking at their diaries. Cool. Right, next bit of info then is just generally we always like to mention about YouTube videos. Now, we did not have any new YouTube videos come out this week, but I can foreshadow to next week. For those that are enjoying the Spotlight videos, the Occultist Spotlight video will be coming out next Friday, so keep an eye on that. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say at this point in the stream that if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. We are only 8 subscribers away from 400, which will be a great milestone. And if you haven't already, please make sure to give the stream a like, as that also helps us with the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, wouldn't be doing my job. So next bit of news then is about the Draco Summer flash sale. Now, hopefully you guys already know about this because we did post it on our socials and in the Discord. However, if you did not know, we are running a current flash sale in Achroma, which is a 20% discount. That's the largest amount of discount we've ever given. You use the code Draco Summer, and it is up until 11th of July. I don't know the exact time that it stops, so my advice, buy on the 10th. Because I don't know whether it stops when it ticks over to the 11th of July or at midnight before it ticks over to the 12th. So just in case, if you're going to get something, definitely pick it up today or tomorrow for that lovely 20% off. If you miss it, don't worry, because we'll always do other flash sales in the future, but just make sure to keep an eye on social medias for that. Yes, 20%. So if you wanted to buy just one single pallet, you know, one 20 quid Achroma pallet, you can get that for £16 plus shipping, which is pretty epic. For those that are worrying about the next thing, which is the Draco Summer promo card. So as always, we do offer the Draco Summer promo card with a certain level of orders. So this season we've set it at £30. So if you spend £30 or more in store or online, you will get a Draco Summer promo card, which are limited to 1,200 copies. Now, I had a few people question this last week, and I've got an answer that as long as you get your basket up to £30, if you then have a discount code that brings it under 30, the Draco Summer promo card will still be attached to your basket. So you don't have to go up so much above 30 that the discount brings it to 30. You can, as long as you put £30 worth of products in your basket, it will trigger the Draco Summer card to be on there. And then when you apply the promo at the end, as in the discount code, you know, that might take it down to, you know, £22, for example, but you're still going to get the Draco Summer card. So for those that, you know, want to get a Draco Summer but don't really want to spend over £30, then actually now is the perfect time to do it, because you can actually get, you know, if you were to buy one Achroma pallet and 2 Haim Shard caches for £30 dead on, you're actually only going to be spending £24 plus shipping. So yes, that was the other bit of news, is that we still have the Draco Summer promo card. For those that, you know, want to just get their hands on a free one, join us at any of our events in store or at any of the events outside of the store, and you'll get a free one as well. Cool. So that is all of the Achroma news. Moving on to the events. The next event that we will be running in store that I'm aware of will be the Draco Summer Grand Tournament, which is currently set for Saturday, the 23rd of December. I don't have any further details for it at this time. It's purely just giving you guys a date so you can start getting it in your calendars and start planning ahead. But it will be, you know, I can tell you that it will be following the same Grand Tournament rules as always. You can find them on our website under the resources tab. And yeah. It's going to be fun, so get it in your diaries. As always, it will be great. Yes, in terms of tickets, we will get them on sale as soon as possible so that people can start actually getting them in. That is very much something that we are aiming to do ASAP. Cool. So the next thing then is moving on to the previews. Now, I've got 2 previews that are very different. Because when I say previews, you guys are probably thinking, oh, he might show us some new cards. Maybe he's going to show us a bit of lore or something like that. But no, I've got two very, very different things. The first thing is something that some of you might have seen. Chris very sneakily popped it into... No, it's actually nothing to do with Draco season. You know, we don't have anything to show you yet for Draco, for the next Draco Chronicle. That hopefully will be coming in the next few weeks. The first image I want to show you is one that Chris sneakily put into the main chat of the Discord yesterday. And I'm just going to let you guys take it in for yourself. Ooh, where's my picture gone? There we go. I'll have a sip of my drink whilst you have a little look at this. Well, what you are looking at, folks, is a 3D resin printed model of Darnacusk. How incredible is that? So let me tell you a little bit about this. Now I don't have full information, but I'll tell you what I know. So firstly, this has been designed and printed by I don't know his name off the top of my head, but a fantastic guy down in Poole who runs his own. I've actually got it here. I've got well, I probably shouldn't show on stream actually, but a guy in Poole who owns his own business, and he makes a tabletop war game using 3D miniatures. We approached him in Poole and said, hey, you know, do you mind making us a miniature of our Darnacusk as a bit of a concept, really? That's what this is. It's a point of concept to see how good would it look. Andy, that's his name. Thank you. So, to be very clear here, folks, this is not me announcing that there will be miniatures on sale imminently or anytime soon. All this simply was us experimenting and seeing, hey, let's see what a miniature model would look like. Do we like it? You know, it might turn out that we end up printing some models maybe for the TTRPG so that we have, you know, models to be able to put on your table whilst playing the role-playing game, which would be amazing. You know, maybe future game modes might involve having one of these little models. Who knows is the answer. I guess, you know, I'll let your minds go crazy there, but, you know, creativity go crazy. But yeah, I think we can all agree, very, very cool. And we definitely need more models. I would definitely, you know, shell out some money and get one of those if it went on sale tomorrow. I love that. Although I think me and Lewis agreed yesterday, we'd rather it be Tenebaris, but that's just personal opinion. But yes. So very, very cool. I thought I'd show that off on stream today. So to be very clear, folks, bottom line, there is no promises that we will ever make any models. This is purely a proof of concept that we could get some printed and they would look awesome. They would look awesome. So the next preview I want to show you is one that is actually much more imminent, as in it technically is happening as we speak. Now, this is something that might not come as a shock to everybody because it has been mentioned at the showcase, and I believe it's been mentioned kind of in Chinese whispers a little bit, so some of you may have heard of it. But before I reveal the picture, I will talk you through it. Now, I'm not going to say all of the information today, as we do have some promotional material going out in the next few days that we'll talk about it more. But in short, we are rebranding our Achroma store. So right now, down in Poole, we have the Achroma store. And it is pretty much a store for Achroma. You come, you buy Achroma, you play Achroma. What we are doing is we're rebranding this to what we're calling the Five Realms Gaming Lounge. The Five Realms Gaming Lounge. And it's going to become an amazing gaming hub for all different things. It's not just going to be Achroma anymore. It's going to be its own sort of entity, and we've got an incredible amount of plans for it. Now, before I explain more about what the Five Realms is actually going to involve, let's firstly show you the preview I want to show you for today, which is, and this is the first time this is going out to you guys in the community, so it's exciting times. Here is the logo for the Five Realms Cafe, which I think looks incredible. It's, you know, it's clearly different to Achroma. It's not going to be the same branding as Achroma because it isn't a separate entity. But I think this looks awesome. Yeah, it looks really, really cool. Like, I know that we're still waiting for Achroma merch, but I want Five Realms merch. I want a t-shirt of that. I love it. It's really, really good. I don't actually know who designed this, actually. I don't know whether it was one of our artists or whether it was someone else, but yeah, or maybe it was a Sheriff of Nothing. But yeah, it's really, really cool. So there we go. That is the Five Realms Gaming Lounge logo. So whilst you guys take that in, let me give you a little bit of details about what you can expect from the Five Realms Gaming Lounge. But again, there'll be more stuff going out the next few days. So the store is shutting today. So it's shut today, and it will be closed and doing a grand reopening this Saturday coming, Saturday the 15th. So to be very clear, for those that live in or around Poole, please do not make the trip down to the store Monday through Friday this week. I mean, I know we're normally closed on Monday and Tuesday anyway, so it's only really 3 days we're closed. But yeah, please do not come down to the store Monday through Friday this week, as we will not be open whilst we are refitting, refurbishing, and moving stuff around, getting stuff in. And we'll be doing a grand reopening on the 15th, which is next Saturday. Yes, next Saturday. Yeah, essentially, as we said, it's becoming kind of a gaming lounge, a gaming hub for not just Achroma. So what we're doing is we're going to be reducing the amount of space that is, you know, specifically for Achroma. So that, you know, there'll still be the shop in there where you can buy Achroma cards, obviously. But that space for the shop will be a little bit smaller, and the space to actually play games will be much larger. So to be very clear, we're not just going to be selling Achroma either. So starting from Saturday, when you come in, you'll be able to buy Pokemon cards. You'll be able to buy Magic the Gathering cards. You'll be able to buy cards from the One Piece card game. You'll be able to buy Star Wars Shatterpoint. You'll be able to buy popular board games such as Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride, Splendor, Dobble, Seven Wonders, Zombicide, just to name a few. Obviously, you'll still be able to buy Achroma. Yeah, so there's loads of games you're going to be able to actually buy. And on top of that, you can also play them there as well. It's not just, I mean, to be fair, our store was never just a place for Achroma. You could come in and play other card games, but people didn't feel like they could because it was very much Achroma branded. So now, yeah, you can literally just go down there and play any games you want to. We're working on a space for like role-playing games, so you'll be able to that little space that, for those that have been to the store, that space that's kind of like behind the screen where normally staff would be working away, that's going to become a nice little nook to be able to play like the role-playing game and things like that. And that's not it. We have so much more as well. So there's going to be an alcohol license coming later in July. So when you are there, you'll be able to have a little drink for those that are 18 and over. We will obviously be running the Dexter's Dragon Riders Kids Club on a Saturday morning. That will still be being hosted there. There's also going to be an arcade machine. I don't know what games are going to be on it, but there will be a classic arcade machine. There will be a Nintendo, I believe a Nintendo Switch, which will be hooked up to that big TV with some sofas and stuff. So you'll be able to sit and just play Nintendo Switch there, as well as loads more food and stuff as well. I think we're going to have some freshly made sandwiches. So it's just going to become a really, really cool hangout spot for everybody. So yes, you know, I unfortunately won't be there next Saturday, but I can't wait to see it myself, and I implore you all to go and, you know, take a trip to the Five Realms Gaming Lounge Cafe from next Saturday. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And although, you know, we don't know that much at this point, but, you know, the whole point of this rebranding is that we might see more Five Realm stores popping up across the country. The idea is that it's not just going to be the one store. So, you know, although we have no specific news to give you today, you know, the hope, the adventure is that hopefully there'll be a Five Realms Gaming Lounge near you soon. Is the tagline, I guess. But yeah, very, very cool. Hope you guys enjoy that little bit of news there. If you have any questions about Five Realms, you can ask, but I probably won't know more than that. However, like I said, you are going to see lots of media going out over this week. You'll probably see some pictures in the Discord. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And to be fair, we're about to get Jack on the stream anyway, and I'm sure he'll want to talk about Five Realms a bit more as well, if he wants to. So, yes, what do the chat say in the meantime? So, yeah, that's awesome. Wow, I have to wait to collect my cards. Begins to play Pokemon to create an extra excuse to go there. Do it, fair, if you want to, why not? Wow, a Switch, now I'm more hooked. I was unsure about that till this point. Yeah, come down, play on the Switch, have some drinks with your friends, have a laugh, why not? I'll send you pictures when I get there. Thank you, Sarah, I appreciate it. But yeah, it is amazing. But there we go. So, with that is the end of the Achroma news, events, and previews. As a reminder, we do this every week to catch you up on all of it. So the next part of the stream is we're going to be looking at the realm table. So as we said earlier, normally this is a community discussion where I'll get a community member on and we'll discuss a topic in Achroma that is currently a hot talking point in the Discord. But today we have a very, very special one, because joining me on stream in a moment is going to be Realm Run Studios managing director and the co-creator of Achroma, Jack Constantine. And let's just go there now and introduce him. So Jack, welcome in. How are we doing?
Hello, all good. Everything okay here?
Yeah, looking good. Again, I think every time either you or Rachel has been on stream, the first thing everybody goes is, wow. So that little nook you've got there is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it is a real backdrop. It's not like if I put my hand through it, it'll disappear. It's actually legit. It's there.
That's amazing. Well, nice to see you again. Thank you very much for being on stream today. But I'll start off by saying, those in chat, the main point of this chat today is to talk about Draco lore. So start having a think of any questions you might have for the lore in Draco Temple. Pop them in chat, and intermittently I will ask a couple to Jack, and we'll see what we know. So, Jack, I'll start with yourself then. So we won't necessarily discuss too much about the lore that we already know to a degree. But you originally created the Draco lore, so where did you kind of get the idea for it?
Well, obviously with all of this, it's been building for 20 years. So
yeah.
So Rach and I kind of co-created it, and obviously, Rach is much more of the creative writer than I am, and she's definitely the lead on the world building. And she was very much kind of focused on the idea that when we realized we were definitely going to go beyond fairies into other realms, dragons was one of the first kind of realms that came up that we created, and way back when it was about kind of before an era before all of this, where Darnacusk was one of the first dragons we knew we had. And he was a powerful elder dragon that was part of the creation of Colour and Achroma, and was there in the beginning, and was an ally of Cornelius Hugh and Craven when they used to be friends. So there was that back in the day, and then kind of cut to like creating this era, this stage of the Achroma storyline. I definitely took a bit more of a lead on kind of fleshing out what was happening in Draco Planum at this point in time. So I kind of took the lead from the stuff that Rach had built around, Darnacusk being this very powerful elder dragon, and kind of built out this scenario, the base premise of it being really that kind of where everyone gets dropped into in the storyline is that a meeting of elder dragons has occurred where Tenebaris, who would normally have been an elder dragon that was not Achroma, has completely stitched them all up and has basically, it's all a trap, and he's taken over, and the other elder dragons are set in stone, and Darnacusk is the last remaining one trying to defend the last bastion of the dragons, which is the Draco Temple. So I just kind of built out a storyline and a kind of world around what would be happening at that point, and the threat of Achroma, and how that Achroma threat kind of would spread within Draco, and took that point of time and expanded on it, and looked at things like what would the setting be with the floating islands, and kind of built out those areas. So it was very much a kind of a joint effort, but bringing in how the whole concept of the comic book kind of, meanwhile, what's happening over at Curdle, this is happening over at Draco, and this is the kind of state of play. So it was good fun to explore and experiment and figure out where and how this kind of landscape was being affected by Achroma, and things like knowing that there was a strong relationship between the dragons and the fairies. There's this portal that gets corrupted because that's the main way that the fairies would travel back and forth, and having some trapped fairies over on Draco because they were normally coming over. That whole thing, it gave me quite a lot to work with, to kind of go, well, if that would be the case, then you'd build out on here, and just starting to piece together what it would be like in this era from some of the stuff we created that was from an earlier period.
Oh, incredible. And so you mentioned there earlier that so Darnacusk originally, so when Tenebaris first sort of betrayed the dragons, that's when the elders got entombed. That's when they were kind of drained of their Achroma. So do we know why? I mean, I imagine to some degree Achroma power, that sort of drive, but do we know any more about why Tenebaris actually kind of betrayed the elders? I imagine he was an elder dragon himself. Was he not quite happy?
Oh, he was an elder dragon, but you should see him before You should see what he looks like before the art you have now.
Oh, does that exist?
Well,
even in your mind.
In concept, it does.
Yeah.
And he was not the powerful dragon he has become.
Right.
So of the Elder Dragons, he was not respected, and now he has taken
that respect.
And he is taken control and said, you know what, you guys never respected me, and now you will. So yeah, that's the kind of the angle there, that you know it was a big ambush surprise, and the dragons, the whole kind of, they were always the most powerful beings of Draco, and they were always the ones who were in control. But I think even within what we've revealed from the Siege of Draco Temple set, it can look quite dragon rich because there's a lot of dragons in the Chroma set, but I don't think it's clear yet to everyone that this is the last bastion of the dragons.
Yeah, this is it. If they go, they're gone.
There's not a lot of dragons flying around out there. This monastery with the nests, with Materno protecting the young, with this young squadron who are set to be the protectors under the guidance of the last remaining Elder Dragon, are trying their best to protect their culture, their heritage.
This is everything.
And the drakes are swarming and they're out there. So I think even the little glimmer we've given so far is a scratch on the surface of what the state of Draco is.
Okay. And where... I've got two questions from that. Where do the drakes actually come from, and why are the drakes so intent to snuff out, not necessarily Chroma, but snuff out the dragons?
So you've got Chroma being this powerful magical paint. Fairies start painting dragons. Dragons become powerful because of this paint. So they gain their powers, their abilities. You get painted in red, you're this powerful fire dragon. You get painted in blue, you're going to be a powerful water dragon.
Yep.
Drakes never had that benefit. It didn't matter what paint went on the drake. They were just a drake. They didn't have any powerful abilities. So the minute Achroma turned up, this new corruptive energy power paint, they could bathe in this, and all of a sudden they were a newborn threat against the dragons who'd always been the powerful ones, and they were able to step up and say, you know what, this is our turn.
Yeah, our
this is our time. And so Tenebaris, he managed to persuade Vortigern, who's the younger dragon, who is another dragon, which is why, I know it frustrates people, but which is why Tenebaris and Vortigern are dragons. They are dragons. There is that difference between the drakes and the dragons.
I've personally been really enjoying, though, with the expansion cards. I've been personally really loving getting Tenebaris out and then playing Drake Sacrifice on a Draco hatchling to turn him into a Drake, which can be quite fun.
Yeah.
But so is Vortigern kind of like what Tengri is to Darnacusk? It's kind of like he was another kind of elder in the making.
He was a young, powerful dragon that had the potential to become, an elder, and Tenebaris took him under his wing and quite literally was like, come with me, I can show you some power. And so Vortigern, going from a red fire dragon, suddenly becomes this very powerful, Achroma corrupted fire dragon that can really threaten the status quo of Tengri, who was obviously, being Darnacusk's protege, he was the next in line. And all of a sudden it switched out, and the dynamic has changed because of the fact that Tenebaris and Vortigern have kind of taken control.
Awesome. So let's see what chat's saying a little bit, and then I want to move on to the denizens a little bit. So in the chat, we've got people saying things like, Lewis says, I want to see Vos Volataris crashing to the ground. Most people are starting to think of this battle and how it's obviously going to get resolved with the narrative event. Darth says, would be ashamed to see that temple fall. So we got Richard says, repair the portal, save the temple. Yeah, I think some people are thinking like, oh yeah, what if the portal get repaired and fairies come in and help fight, maybe. Ricky says, this talk is making me feel like we need another Chroma win, but then also I'm morbidly curious with what chapter 2 would look like if Achroma won. Brilliant. Yeah, my Dexter Fairy deck is actually really good, but I do admit it's no match for the occultists. Yeah, occultist is strong. I assume he's basically Tenebaris' lieutenant at this point. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's the case. Yeah, and I think but bear in mind, one of the outcomes of this is that with Chroma being the resource that gives the dragons the power when it dries up, that's part of the reason that these elder dragons are set in stone. So if they can get that Chroma flowing again, some of these entombed elder dragons may reappear as characters and cards you can play.
Yeah,
have a little look at that card and see what you think. Which one of those elder dragons would you want to see come back to life?
Funnily enough, I was doing a bit of research before the stream earlier, where I was having a reread of some of the short stories myself. Now, for those that don't know, if you go to the Achroma website, hover over Chronicles, click on See Draco Temple, and then scroll to the very bottom, there are 3 short stories. And actually, I was going to bring up the fact that there is one called The Sleepless Wind, in which it denotes a couple of the monks going on a bit of a very difficult walk to the elders, and they make the point of, will they ever come back? So you're saying that the door is open, that should... I'm not asking you to say confirm that's what's going to happen if Chroma win, but you're saying that if enough Chroma was to seep into those statues, as it were, there is the potential that life could come back.
Oh yeah, I think the premise that, you know, the fairies are regularly over there painting. You've got this Chroma storehouse in the temple, and that's the last supply for these dragons that are maintaining their status in and around the monastery. You know, if that Chroma can flow again, then there's going to be some big impacts on how it all resolves in Draco. But you're talking about an entire... You've got the Drakes have completely taken control of the portal. They've got that, you know, they are patrolling it. You've got quite a big power shift if there's going to be the ability to be able to free that up.
Absolutely. And Lewis, brilliant question. What do you reckon would happen if the Entombed Elders got covered in Achroma?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Who knows? That could be awesome. I'd like to see that, but as they emerge, they are bathed in Achroma and the Chroma slides off. That would be quite cool. So let's talk a little bit about the denizens then. So what we know about them, for those that, you know, maybe haven't looked at the lore, is they are essentially the guys in the middle there, the monks and the creatures of Arcosvia that, for the most part, they are although they are relatively neutral, for the most part, they are kind of on the side of Chroma, if that's right. They look after the temples, look after dragons.
Yeah, so you've got the residents of the monastery, the monks themselves. They're definitely kind of allied with the dragons. They are they've been manning those libraries and looking after the monastery grounds for a long time, and they are definitely allied with the dragons. And then you've got the creatures, you know, the Nues, the Impundulus. They are roaming around, you know, flying creatures that live in those lands, and you know, they obviously see the power being, you know, manipulated above them, but they go about their lives pretty much, you know, day to day, not really focused on what's going on between dragon and drake. And with the monks, the thing with them is the kind of premise that I worked on with this whole region being very much inspired by Tibetan temples and Himalayas and that kind of that region of the world. It's really about this premise where monks meditate to the state of nirvana, and this idea that effectively within our realm you could, in theory, meditate to a state that you could transport yourself across to, in this case, Draco Planum, and live your eternal life supporting the dragons and living in that nirvana state. So that's the kind of the background of where these monks appear from, how they end up in this realm, and how they end up supporting the dragons.
I did wonder how they got up to the Arcos.
Yeah, exactly. So the parallel of kind of like our world and how the travel can work, and that idea of the real world status of the idea of these Tibetan monks, where there's still, you know, examples of mummified monks where they think they got to a state of self-mummification through actually transporting and through nirvana. And these types of, I always love researching and leaning into the real world for what these kind of theories are, or, you know,
Absolutely.
this happened and what does that mean? Because I think that's been one of the key aspects for me with Achroma in total, is kind of leaning back on the cultures that we and the mythology and the history that we have, and how those things influence. So
makes it feel more real as well. when it's something you're like, oh, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, and you'll notice Darnacusk is a much more European-looking dragon versus Tenebaris and Tengri and some of those more Asian-looking, Chinese-looking kind of snake-like dragons. And that is because of their backgrounds. Like Darnacusk is a European dragon, and that's where he's from. And so, leaning into our own history or mythology around dragons and what they were depicted as and how they looked and what they would be. Kind of, it's always nice to when building out a world like this, just to kind of go and do that research and go, oh, that's an interesting thing to take and put into place.
That's awesome. We've got some other nice comments as well. Richard saying, bring out a rogue monk branch. Could we get some monks maybe that go rogue? Lewis says, can we go Yu-Gi-Oh route instead of Blue Eyes Dark Dragon? We get Dark Darnacusk. Oh, imagine I mean, obviously, Darnacusk is someone that I feel like that's a character that's always been very close to your heart, because obviously that's a character that you created. It's a character you've always spoken about. How do you feel about a Dark Darnacusk?
Oh, I mean, it would be a dark day when there's a Dark Darnacusk. We'd have to, there'd be some mourning on the Chroma side to see a Darnacusk bathed in Achroma, but also it could look pretty awesome. So.
It would look pretty cool, absolutely. What else we got here? Berrybread says, I want to see one day a futuristic place full of chroma in the same realm as Draco, like the contrast in Japan of extreme ruralness with huge advanced cities. Yeah, okay, that could make sense. And again, I didn't want to ask you too much in this little interview, much about the next Chronicle, because that's, we can save that for another video, as it were. But do you mind me asking whether so far with the lore of the next Chronicle, we are sticking a bit like how with Curdle Hill and Curdle Cove, they're almost like next door neighbors. Are we going down the same sort of potential route for Draco, or is that to be confirmed?
I think Dexter, Master of Dragons, is the bridge between what we've got with Chapter 1 and what we'll get with Chapter 2.
Okay.
So, yeah. It is going to be in a similar vein, so there will be regions, there will be the timeline will kind of continue on the same track, which is pretty much what we can say about all Chapter 1, Chapter 2s. The idea being that we're in the age of Achroma. We're telling a story that is going from the kind of the beginning. As close. I mean, we could have gone a couple of steps back with this story and really kind of gone into, Tenebaris and his cunning plans to corrupt everything. But, to kind of jump into the action, but say this is the age of Achroma. Achroma has taken its grip across the 5 realms, and we're going to tell this story a chapter at a time. We're going to kind of introduce you to different places and different characters, but it's gonna, with some characters overlapping, and it's gonna feel very much like a fluid flowing narrative. So yeah, you're gonna be entering a new region.
Cool.
The Dexter is your link, so you scour that card for Easter eggs.
Sounds good. Yeah, awesome. Okay, awesome. Lewis also asked, does anything come through the portal since it got corrupted, or is it basically closed?
It's basically closed. There's nothing that the fairies are lost. They can't get back unless they can penetrate this blockade from the Achroma blockade, which is what the Drakes have put in place. Okay.
And Mark in the chat asks, is Fars Volataris and the floating mountains inspired by the holy mountains of China, like, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, Hangshan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of that, inspiration from real world places, and then weaving it into a kind of like how would that transform? I mean, I think one of the short stories, if we did publish that one, it, also hints at the idea that there was a pretty big event that smashed up Draco. That's why it's floating islands and a shattered.
I don't think that one has been released. So maybe we can find that as a special event at some point if we have it.
Yeah.
But no, very cool.
There's some tension. Part of that would be, all I can add to that is each realm has got their different tensions and different alliances.
Yeah.
Dragons and fairies, allies. Dragons and also trolls, not so much. There's definitely some tension there.
Okay.
That is definitely yeah, if we haven't revealed it yet, then it's definitely, we've got some stuff in the pipeline we can.
Now, is there any, actually, when you say that, where like, this actually might be an interesting topic to speak about. And I was going to mention that if anybody has any questions specifically for Jack around Draco Temple lore, then please feel free to pop it in chat now, because we have about 5 to 10 minutes left. I was going to ask, so yeah, you say that there's these alliances, and we know about Draco and fairies. That's come up in the lore quite a bit. Are there any sort of alliances with the witches in Salem Panem? And the only reason why I ask is there is that short story where Materno looks into the pool of Mira Sanctum. Again, this is a story on the website for those who haven't read, and I believe what's described as a vision that appears to be seeing the Achroma cloud in Curdle. So is there any interaction between dragons and Curdle at all?
I mean, no. There's elements of this that are coming through now because of the fact that with this new Achroma threat, there's more things like that appearing. So more visions, more sight through to other realms to see wherever there is a problem occurring with Achroma, it's more likely that it's becoming apparent across all the realms that there's a problem in that place. Normally, they are living pretty solo, especially Salem Planum. They kind of keep themselves. They're quite like they like the Norso Planum craftsmanship, so they like to have some tools from the quality craftsmanship of Norso, so they have a relationship there. But yeah, they don't really have much of a relationship with the dragons. So yeah, I mean, in some way we'll probably be able to build out a bit of a overview of kind of relationships between the realms and which ones are friends, which ones are enemies, which ones are neutral.
That's cool.
You know, because there's definitely some different dynamics at play.
Absolutely. Awesome. Welcome in Mirrored stream, by the way. Okay, so whilst we've got, again, a few minutes left, seeing if there are any other questions come in. Okay, well, we have a quick question from Mark, although Mark, I might save that for when we talk about Spirata and Norso in the next seasons. Sheriff, welcome in. Dan says there's a story in the Wishworld Collector's Editions that tells the story of Darnacusk and Torstein.
There it is. I knew it was out there somewhere. The Easter egg. If someone wants to go and find that in their collector's edition and share it on the Discord, people will know what I'm talking about.
There we go. So is there anything else, Jack? So this is, I might not have made it clear at the start of this video for everyone else, but this is almost a chance for us to, for you also, as as the main creator of Draco with Rachel, to, at the end of this month, we're likely going to be, turning the pages that we're into the next Chronicle for Draco. So is there any other pieces of lore or information that you're, as far as you're aware of, haven't got into any short stories or haven't got out that you would like the community to know before we, again, turn the metaphorical page that you can think of?
I think we've managed to sneak a lot out there. I'm glad that little one that I talked about has just reared its head from a collector's edition. I'm happy that's in there. I think I think most of it is out and about and is ready, for people to kind of grab hold of. There's not much I would want to go into without leaking too much about chapter 2.
Yeah.
Which is always we're in that tricky phase. How much do we give away before the real reveal? So no, I think, like I said, Dexter Master of Dragons, it was great to kind of get that addition in on a personal level, obviously, but also on the level of weaving in where we knew we were going to go next with the dragons. Yeah, I mean, I think there are other dragons out there. There, if you imagine across Draco Planum, the elders have been turned to stone, which means a lot of the tribes of dragons and a lot of the different communities of dragons have been, they're at a loss because they've lost their main elder dragon. And so you'll get, there's pockets of young dragons, there's pockets of this activity in different states. There's drakes who have now made the most of the opportunity, and Tenebaris has tried to put his best lieutenants out across Draco to take over. You may even call them warlords. So, there's definitely some interesting activity across Draco that I think will display a lot more the disruption that's happened. And I think what I love is that what people see now is very different to how it has been. This is not the peak of Draco Planum. This is the descent of Draco Planum. So
Yeah.
you know, there's an era pre this that's the real kind of high, you know, high point of their civilization that I think is exciting as well, because in a way it's great to enter at a stage where you know you're kind of destroying some amazing stuff, because you can go back and be like, yeah, but imagine what it was like, and we can then do that at some point.
Oh, imagine if we ever did like a chronicle that was like a pre-chronicle or something like that, where it's like, hey, this is what happened, you know, 200 years prior.
100%.
That'd be awesome. Mira saying, yeah, we need dragon egg jewelry. Sarah asks, will the dragons get their stolen dragon egg back? Now, she's probably referring to Isadora's dragon egg, which we now know is in the hands of Otrix.
I mean, once it's in the black market,
yeah, it's gone.
You can't trace that stuff.
No, that is absolutely.
She did not get that from. Yeah, there were a few links in the chain of that black market process and purchase.
Probably some Brascavi trade deals, right?
Before that aristocratic, you know, Curdle was able to get her hands on a very, very rare dragon's egg.
Brilliant. And so to tie it off, Jack, I want to know, which side do you want to win?
Ooh, I mean, I would love to see those entombed elders get freed. If I'm honest, I'm always Chroma at heart, so I'd have to say I'm on the Chroma side for Draco. As much as I can see the appreciation for the dark, corruptive Achroma outcome, I really would love to see Chroma claw it back. And
fair enough.
And yeah,
I mean,
win the day.
You want the underdog. You want the underdogs to win, and right now the dragons in the lore setting are the underdogs, right?
Exactly.
Very nice. And Dan, okay, I feel like Dan's maybe hinting at something. Dan says, "Hey Jack, what's the temperature like in the setting for Draco Chapter 2?"
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, again, going back to the Dexter card, hopefully it's noticeable that those dragons are pretty. They've got some pretty thick fur coats.
Okay.
Which normally would mean you're not going to be hot if you need a big, thick fur coat.
Okay. Well, there we go.
That's close enough.
That's a good little teaser. I'm sure the community can theory craft on that for a week or two. Amazing. Thank you, Jack. Well, I don't think there's any questions I missed in the chat. So if everybody in the chat can spam thank yous to Jack as well. Jack, I thank you very, very much for being on the stream. As always, it's always a pleasure to, you know, the community always loves it when we can go into yours and Rachel's minds and just really pull out all this amazing story that, like you said, you've been working on for 20 plus years. It's like second nature to you now. So it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very, very much for being on.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always great fun.
No worries. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'm sure we'll hear more from you soon.
See you soon.
Cheers, Jack. Bye. All right, I will jump out of that call there. There we go. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, Ice Age and Ice Age. Ice Dragons, maybe. Mountainous regions is my bets. No, it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant to have Jack on the stream. It's brilliant to just get that lore insight, and you know we'll make sure we do a stream like that every single season. I think then obviously the next season will be Sparata, so we'll definitely get Rach back on as Sparata is obviously Rachel's. Well, it's Rachel and Jack's creation, but Rachel definitely wants to talk more about that. Lovely. Oh, I'm. You know, to be very clear, folks, I don't know. I get kept with you guys with not knowing too much about the next chapter until it gets really close. So that's really intrigued me. My mind is just going round and round now, thinking about ideas of what it could be. But I digress. There is more of the stream I need to get through. So again, thank you very, very much to Jack Constantine for joining me on the stream there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was the realm table for this week. So to end the stream out then, we always like to move on to the community showcase. This is where we shine the light on you guys in the community and to the amazing stuff that you guys have created or done. And we do have some awesome stuff to show you today. Starting with some art. We have had some more fan art this week. So we have had... Here we go. I'll zoom in a little bit on it. So this has been created by... Snake in a Hat in the community Discord. Again, the community Discord link down below if you haven't already joined. So we showed some of their creations about 2 or 3 weeks ago on stream. And what they're doing is they're running with their really cool idea of like you know, taking Dungeons and Dragons theme of characters, but putting them in, imagine essentially Dungeons and Dragons was a realm of Achroma. So they've created this fan-made card using some of their personal D&D characters called the Dreamer and her Nightmare. So this is a character from the Dream Realm, Steal 1, cost 4, and the ability claim a character until Dreamer is erased. When Dreamer attacks, the claimed card must attack if it can. So it's like they're like joined at the hip sort of thing. Traveling to the Dream Realm since birth, heareth caught the attention of one peculiar being, and over all the years through their bond is unbreakable. But again, it's the artwork that blows me away. They did an amazing job with the artwork of this. It's just absolutely beautiful. So very well done to Snake in a Hat. I love their name as well, because that is incredible. Who here thinks Snakes in a Hat stories are amazing? Yeah, me. They're amazing. I don't think there's anyone here who could disagree. No, I agree as well. So yes, very well done to Snake in a Hat for that. Oh, I made a rhyme. So the next bit of fan art is from Fairy Bread. We have had another drawing from Fairy Bread. Now, if I zoom out very slightly, I can't zoom out more than that, but that pretty much is all of it. You're just missing a slight sign. So this is called, yes, from yourself. This is called the Splat Arcade. So you can see here that you got Splat Tag, where the fairies presumably splat themselves with Chroma. Yeah, it's only half the sign, yeah. We got Flea Ball, play on words like Flea Bee, but Flea Ball, where it's like, you know, the basketball hoop thing. 20p a go, so clearly fairies use Great British pounds. Good to see. And then we've got Splat the Squish. So it looks like £1 per go. I imagine that's some form of game where maybe, you know, there's like something floating around and you got to shoot it. You got some form of like a chroma gun there. Very, very cool. Beautifully illustrated, really good. Like, it's actually quite hard to draw like rooms with the perspectives and stuff. So very well drawn. Great idea as always. I love your creativity around the Sparata realm, Fairy. When we get to the Sparata season, I can only imagine you're going to make loads of these drawings because it looks really, really cool. I love it. Thank you very much for sharing that with this week. You got to use the gun to splat the Achroma appearing on the screen. Gotcha. Yeah, like one of those like shooting arcade games. That is absolutely brilliant. I love it. Maybe we'll see the inside of the Splat Tag at some point, and we'll see some fairies playing it. It's the easiest and most fun to use for art. Yeah, absolutely. You've been so. I mean, you say it's easy. You know, art and creative ideas doesn't come easily to everybody, and you've had some really creative ideas, buddy. So really pat yourself on the back for that. I love seeing the stuff you draw. So the next thing I want to show you is, okay, before I bring it up on screen, I hope that Dan and Jack are still watching to a degree, because I really want this to be a thing. So last week in the Discord, we had somebody, I don't know who it was, I've got the messages saved somewhere, but somebody came up with the idea of, what if there was an Achroma cookbook? And suddenly the Discord was alive with like 10 different people spamming different funny Achroma themed named meals and drinks and stuff like that. And genuinely, it was hilarious. And the more I was looking at this, the more I was like, this is actually a really good idea. Like to see, imagine seeing the amazing Achroma art. Yeah, like Flea Burger. Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that, Fairy. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up now is not only is it just really funny to talk about, and I'm sure the chat's going to get into it, we actually had our first bit of Achroma food created. Now, this was created by Lewis in the Discord and his partner Kaz. This is a kind of a first prototype, but here we have the Golden Apple of Eris. He made a candy apple, which is, a regular apple dipped in some form of, caramel or chocolate. And he's clearly used some form of, type of sauce or coloring, as well as some glitter to make this amazing kind of sparkly effect. Now, he actually made two of them. He made one that, you can see the difference between the two. What do we think, folks? Which one do we think looks more like the Golden Apple of Eris? This one here, that first one, or number 2? I personally prefer number 1 because it's more golden, but I appreciate number 2 looks more shiny. What do we think? 1 or 2 in chat. Also, can we talk about this one apple here? That apple is the juiciest red apple I think I've ever seen. That looks lovely. One, both. I mean, yeah, both of them are amazing. Splat sausage. That sounds good, Fairy. But yeah, I also think number 1. I think it looks really, really cool. Rich thinks 1 as well. Yeah, I agree. So if you make these again, Lewis, definitely go for for the first option. That looks really, really cool. But yeah, well done to Lewis and Kaz for making that. And if anybody ever makes any Achroma related food, please send it my way to put on stream, because I want this to be a new thing. I think that's absolutely amazing. But again, well done to Lewis and Kaz for that. Now, in terms of the community as well, as always, we like to shout out any Achroma creators that have made content this week. So I don't have images, but all of the links are down below. On the Achroma.tools website, we have a new article made by Lewis. The Achroma.tools website is a community-run, community-made website made by Lewis. It has, an RPG builder, it has deck builder, but he also does post articles on there. And he posted an article this week, which is called Drakes for Achroma. It is where he talks about a palette that he made using Drakes. It's a Drake-themed deck for this season, and explains just how you can use it to bring the Achrometer down. So if you are looking to potentially build a Drake palette for this season, then definitely check out Achroma.tools down below. We've also had a new video from the Wishworld Traders, who is an Achroma creator on YouTube. You can search for Wishworld Traders in YouTube or check out the link down below. They brought out a new video at the very start of this week, which was a video explaining the seasons. So it talks a little bit more about how the Draco Summer season will run. So if you want to see a community's point of view on that with all the lovely details, then definitely check out Wishworld Traders. They are linked down below. They've got some awesome visuals and a great way of presenting on the videos. And we also have a new video from Kitchen Table Games. They are another content creator that makes Achroma content. They make a lot of Magic the Gathering content as well. You can find, again, their link down below. This week, they released a gameplay video for Achroma, which is Tenebaris versus Isadora pre-con gameplay. So if you are, looking for more Achroma content to watch, as in like actual gameplay, and you want to see some of the pre-cons being played, then definitely check out the Kitchen Table Games, the link down below. Again, very, very good video. And then lastly, for the community segment, I want to discuss a couple of palettes. Although saying that, I think I've only got one actually now. I was going to show two, but I didn't get the second one decided in the end. So we're going to talk through one palette. So there we go. So this is a palette that's been created by Darth in the Discord. It was Darth, wasn't it? Yes, it was Darth. And they call this one Blue Boys, as you can tell by me zooming a little bit. So this is a Draco Temple palette, and it has a nice mixture of the Chapter 1 cards, including the expansion cards, and it all seems to revolve around the color blue. So let's talk a little bit through this palette. As a reminder, whilst we're talking through this, if you want to post your own palettes, then join our Discord down below. Go to the channel called Canvas Forum, and you can post any palettes, and then people can comment on them, give you advice on them, feedback on them. And it also means if you're just looking to build some custom palettes, but you don't actually know how to palette build, or you don't really want to palette build, you just want to have the palettes, you can go and obviously copy and build other people's palettes as well. Ruber Draco is certainly not blue, but Ruber Draco is just such a good card, you can't not have it in there. So looking at the legendary and rare, so they chose the legendary Aqueous Transition. So that is one of the new legendary rifts, which allows you to, once during your turn, reveal a card with blue, and in the resolve step, you get to gain one for every card on your canvas with blue. So considering that, they've started this palette off as a blue palette, it makes sense to go for the legendary that literally gives you lots of blue cards and resolves for more blue cards as well. We've got the new object, Ornithopter, which is a +3 object. It goes onto a character first, but then it has an ability that when the Ornithopter is erased, it then goes to a location. So it's kind of like it gets to be redeployed once. And it has blue in it as well, and it's a +3, so that's a very good choice. Vast Volataris is definitely one of the most powerful cards in this palette. You've got obviously a location that has blue in it, +2 in the resolve, and an extra +1 for every card in your hand. And as we look at these cards, you'll see that they've got a lot of cards that allow you to draw cards, so it's going to play into Vast Volataris. We've got Materno and Umbra Aqueous then as the Dragon and the Drake rares. And they've both been selected because they have blue in them. And they obviously have lots of good abilities as well. Materno protecting all of your characters with a shard value of 2 or less, which is actually not many of the characters. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 of the characters get protected by Materno. But point being is she's blue. And you've got Umbra Aqueous that is when you attack and erase a character, gain the shards. So you've then got some powerful locations. We've got a Monastery Nest, 2 Dracoplanum Libraries, Chroma Storehouse, which Chroma Storehouse is one of the most powerful cards in the pre-con of Chapter 1 Draco Temple. Action, choose 1 color and gain 2 for every card on your canvas with that color. So in this situation, if you had 6 cards out that had blue in them and you chose blue, then you're going to be gaining 12 shards right there and then, which is halfway to victory. So it's pretty epic. Other locations, no, I think that's all the locations. You then have obviously some characters. So admittedly, Ruber isn't blue, but he is just a very powerful character. But you've got Ceruleum Draco, Minima Draco, Draco Hatching, all very good choices. You've got some strong objects like Prism Stone, Draco's Tear for digging, Invictus Charm. Very, very good. And then, yes, you do have some cards that allow you to research, like Monastery Keeper, Impundulu Feather for some protection, and Chroma Overflow as well, which allows you to get some big gain. So you choose 1 color and you gain shards in your bank equal to the number of shards on your canvas with that type. Sorry, the number of actual physical shards of that type. So, you know, again, with dark blue blue being the prominent color, that could pay off quite nicely. You also have a Search for Power that allows you to reveal a card with a shard value of 3 or more. So that's going to help you get some of your bigger cards. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really, really good palette. If I was to make a couple of changes myself, the one thing I would say is that there is little to no control. For those that know me, when I build my palettes, I like there to be control cards, meaning cards you can play that erase other cards. And, you know, in Draco Temple, you do have some great cards to choose from, like Breath of Fire, Breath of Ice, Claw Slash, to name a few. I would probably say maybe take out the Search for Power, maybe the Impundulu Feather, or actually maybe one of these objects that's just giving you a +1. It's not even blue. I mean, I'd maybe even take out both of those, to be honest, and just put in 2 Breath of Fires. I think having some control in every palette is almost a necessity to me. But otherwise, it's a really good concept. I've noticed that since the expansion has come out, lots of people have been doing this, where they're building palettes around a color, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, well done to Darth that created this. Now, Darth actually did play this this palette in the special event yesterday in store, and I spoke to them a couple of times, and they mentioned that they got many wins with it, which I have to boo because I want Achroma to win. But they did get many wins with it, and both times that they won with it, they told me that they got like 25 to 40 resolve in one turn. Like, it was insane the amount of resolve they managed to get, but it took time to set up. But it was mostly around Varsalaris and having like 15 cards in hand. It was ridiculous. So yeah, really well done to Darth for creating this deck. Thank you very much for sharing it in the Discord. And if you guys want to comment on this palette yourself and, you know, look at any others, that you can find it in the Canvas forum of our Discord. Where are the Chroma cookies? Oh, there should be some Chroma cookies. I agree, Shah. Oh, where were the Chroma cookies? You're right. I said I was going to bake them and I didn't. Admittedly, Shah, I had such a busy week. I would not have had time. I will make a promise that I will make some Chroma cookies and bring them down to event at some point. I just don't know which event it's going to be, because clearly I'm forgetful and busy. Lewis said, I think next time I'll have to try the golden brown chocolate instead of sugar coating. That could work too. My dad made an Orion Breach palette where every card had magenta. It's so annoying. Oh, very good. Yeah, they're really fun palettes to make. I'll make some cookies. Awesome. Well, there we go. That is all of the palettes I'm going to show today. And with that, we come nicely to the end of the stream. That is the end. Thank you very, very much, folks. The Grand Tournament will be good for cookies? Yeah, I think the Grand Tournament sounds like a good time for some cookies. I agree. But yeah, so that is the end of the Achroma Weekly stream. So we've covered some really cool stuff today. As a bit of a recap, you know, in the news-wise, don't forget there's going to be a Kickstarter update coming out in the next few days. Don't forget that there is the Achroma going, so get your games in. Don't forget there is the Draco Summer promo code that will end on the 11th of July. So if you want to get your 20% off, make sure to use Draco Summer at the checkouts in-store or online soon. We obviously had the reveal of the 5 Realms Gaming Lounge. More on that in the next few days as well. And we had an amazing chat with Jack Constantine for Draco Temple. Thank you again, Jack, for that. And then we shined the light on you guys in the showcase. Brilliant. Well, in which case, folks, that is the end of the Achroma Weekly stream. I have been Charles Barton. Thank you very, very much as always. Let's go to the end screen there. So obviously stream will be same time next week as always, although it may be in a different setting as I won't be at home next week. So I'm looking into logistics of it. I'm hoping that I will still be streaming. It will probably just be in a different space, but that should be okay. Otherwise, as always, the Wednesday games will be going ahead. So join me Wednesday, 6 p.m. in the Discord if you want to play some Achroma games with the community. This one will be recorded for YouTube if you want to join on YouTube. But yeah, lovely guys. Thank you very much. Have a great start to your week. I hope you guys enjoy your Achroma games as well. We're fighting for Chroma Acron. I have been Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian Discord. I will see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh, and obviously, thank you to everybody that's been involved in the chat. I always appreciate you guys chatting to me in the stream. It makes it so much more fun. All right. Bye, guys.